Aloha. So, in order to help you guys understand the Mahele and its importance in Hawaiian history, what it means and the concepts and its historical importance, what I want to do is give you guys a little bit of an introduction to real estate. So, if we look at modern real estate terms, um, how those concepts like land and real estate are structured, and we'll actually begin to see and be able to decipher what the mahele is. Okay, so mahele is it's about the transfer of land, and it's really about changing systems from one system to another system, really going from a feudal system to an allodial system. And if those words don't make sense right now, that's fine. Like I said, we're going to be giving you the tools to understand what those terms mean. And it's also about ownership. So always keep in the back of your mind the Mahele system was really designed to give everybody in the Hawaiian Dominion, in Hawaii, the chance to own property. Okay, the chance to own property in fee simple title. Okay, so we're gonna go over these terms. One of the benefits that I have to give you guys is that I have my real estate license. I understand real estate. I've dealt with it for a few years, and so I understand what these terms mean. And I really think that everybody will benefit from at least understanding these terms, not only in looking at the mahele, but really in your everyday lives and your futures to understand um, this sort of this business, this area. If anybody, everyone lives in a home. Everyone is attached to a home in some way, shape, or form. So what we want to do is just kind of give you some life tools, really. Everyone's going to either end up renting or hopefully owning. So understanding what these terms mean, I think, will help. So anyway, we're going to start, and I hope all of you right now should have in front of you that real estate glossary that I sent out to you guys. That'll really help to follow along with some of those terms as they come up. Okay, so the first term, we're going to just start with the basic concept of land. Okay, so in our concept of land in everyday usage, we normally think of land as just, a park or a mountain or, you know, uh, um, an area, a country, whatever. But when we're talking strict real estate definitions, what we're talking about is something a little bit different, something maybe conceptually different. And land, in its definition, as you can read here, includes the Earth's surface, everything above it, and everything below it, down to the Earth's core, up into outer space. Okay? So, if you picture a little plot of land, a little square of land, say like a house lot, okay, so in the real estate definition of land, it'll include that three-dimensional plot, but it'll also include everything up into space above it and everything down to the core right below it, okay, as if it were a huge pillar. So land includes the air above it and the ground below it. And the last part is absolutely essential to the definition of land. Land is immovable, okay? Land is fixed. Land is permanent, okay? So, which brings us to a concept that you often hear in times in Hawaii, is, they stole our land. Someone stole my land. People stole our land, okay? Well, by definition and by fact, you cannot steal land. Okay, it's an erroneous assumption. It's actually quite ridiculous to think about that. What we're talking about and what people are actually trying to say is that someone stole their title to the land, or someone maybe is illegally occupying your land, but you cannot steal land. Okay, and that's a good thing. Understanding that is a good thing because once you realize people can't steal land, then you realize, by virtue of that fact, that you have a way now to regain title. Okay, the power is back in your side of the court, not in the person on the other person. Okay, so land, it's immovable. Okay, and if we look at this next slide, okay, so this is kind of a picture of land, right? Because you have that surface down there and this neat fictional hotel over here. And so the land actually extends up into space. So if you look over here, I think where the cursor is moving, it goes all the way up, swoops all the way down. And this definition of land, actually, we see it every day because it enables us to own apartments, okay, all the way up in space, okay. They say when you buy an apartment, You're buying a piece of air. You hear that all the time with realtors, but it's true, right? That's what gives you the right to buy a piece of property way up here. Okay. Also, in some strange cases, in New York and other cities a while ago, they had cases where that people that own land in developing metropolitan areas actually made a huge ton of money because as fly zones where airlines had to fly over properties, um, where they're trying to set up their flight routes and stuff, had to actually pay people off in order to use the airspace above properties, right? So realistically, I mean, we can see these in neat cases like these, um, that your rights to a property went all the way up, even as far as high as airplanes can fly. Okay, and it also extends down into the ground. Okay, so for example, this piece of land here has oil on it. Okay, so land includes all the mineral rights and all the minerals down below that piece of property, all the way down to the Earth's core. So in this case, if you strike oil, you'll be like this rich money guy over here, right? So you have the potential to sort of find mineral deposits and gold. Okay, and while that applies to some states, in Hawaii, does anyone know that what would happen if you found oil or if you found gold under your property? Would that be yours or not? Well, the answer is, according to Hawaii law, it would not. Okay, in Texas and other places in the United States, yes, if you find gold or oil, um, you know, you get to keep it. But for our purposes, I mean, for Hawaii, as far as U.S. state occupied law, no, it does not. So if you find gold on your property, my advice, hey, don't tell anybody. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to our definitions here. And if you notice on the bottom here, right, you see a little few blocks of Lego, right? And when we're talking about land and real estate and real property, okay, it's really best if you guys kind of think of these as all fitting together. Okay, so land, real estate, and real property, all three of these go together. Okay, so think about them as these three pieces of Lego. Okay, as we get from land to real estate and real property, it's like adding on another level or another layer. It's like they're going to end up being little Lego blocks combined together. Okay, as we build on each one previous. Okay, so land. So the next one down is real estate. Okay, so real estate equals land, which is our previous definition, plus another element called improvements. Okay, and that's our definition for real estate. And by the way, I should have sort of disclaimed right now that there are other definitions out there of real estate, and there are much more complex definitions of real estate, and there are other angles, and I'm giving you just the sort of basic ideas of what is captured in the definitions out there. And because they are much more complex than what I'm giving you, but for the purposes of this class, and you got to remember, this is all in the context of trying to understand the mahele. So that's the sort of aim and function of these definitions. Okay, so land and improvements. Okay, so permanent improvements made on and to the land. So you're probably asking yourself, well, what is an improvement? Okay, so it's something that you do, and the answer is right in the word itself: to improve. Okay, improvements, things that you do that are made on and to. Okay, so to in the definition here, if you're reading it, includes clearing the lands, roads, easements. On includes buildings, swimming pools, things that you build on top of it, fences, structures, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so I mean, just sort of imagine, right? If you were given a 5-acre lot in anywhere that you wanted, in your most favorite place in the whole world, you're given 5 acres for free. So what would you do with that, right? Most people would start envisioning, oh, I'm going to build a house here, I'm going to build a pool over here, I'm going to build another house on the other side as a party house, or I'm going to have my mom and dad or my auntie stay in that house, and I'm going to just have all these grand plans, right? Very few people would say, oh, I'm just going to let it sit there, right? So improvements on land are kind of a natural human inkling and thing to do, right? A natural motivation. If you have something, you want to improve it, right? So improvements are just that, right? Building houses and adding things to the value of your property, right? But note on the last sentence there, and this is kind of neat, and to me, it's really a Hawaiian concept. Its origin is in Hawaiian, but I think it's very Hawaiian